That's what a 68-year-old woman told me after 3 medications, 2 stents, and a growing list of side effects. She didn't feel better. She felt quieter, but not healed. And it wasn't until she changed what she placed in her cup each morning that her body began to change from the inside out. The endothelium, the lining of your blood vessels, is fragile, but also remarkable. It produces nitric oxide, a compound that keeps arteries open, pressure low, and blood flowing like a river instead of a clogged pipe. We were taught this lining can only be protected with drugs, but the truth is, it can also be restored with ritual, specifically with tea. One tea in particular has been shown to lower blood pressure, reduce inflammation, and support the very lining that holds your health together. And yet, most doctors won't mention it. Your arteries are asking for calm. There's a part of your body that most people never think about. It's thin, delicate, no bigger than a strand of hair, and yet, it lines 60,000 miles of blood vessels inside you. It's called the endothelium, the inner lining of your arteries. And it's not just a passive wall, it's an intelligent organ. It decides whether your blood flows freely or struggles, whether your vessels relax or stay tight, whether healing begins or inflammation lingers. The endothelium produces nitric oxide, a messenger that tells your arteries to open, reduce pressure, and move with ease. But here's the truth. Your endothelium doesn't just respond to pills. It responds to your choices, to the food you eat, to the way you breathe, to how often your body gets to feel calm. Every time you eat, you're either feeding that lining with life or quietly wearing it down. The tension you carry, from stress, from rushing, from worry, it shows up here too. Because your arteries don't only measure pressure, they feel it. And as we age, they become less forgiving, less resilient, but not beyond repair. The good news? They can still regenerate, with gentler meals, with better rhythm, with fewer spikes and more moments of pause. This isn't about control, it's about collaboration. Your arteries are not against you, they're listening. And maybe today, they're asking for something simple. Less force, more flow. A chance to open again. Oil, the invisible blocker. It's easy to believe oil is good for you, especially when the label says extra virgin or heart healthy. It sounds clean, Mediterranean, almost medicinal, but your arteries experience it differently. Inside your body, oil doesn't glide. It slows, it coats. It signals blood cells to clump together. And even a single tablespoon can reduce nitric oxide, the very compound your vessels need to stay open, elastic, and flowing. Under a microscope, you'd see blood get sticky after a high oil meal. Sticky blood moves slower. It creates friction. It wears down the endothelium, that thin inner lining we rely on to regulate pressure, inflammation, and repair. And here's the thing. It's not about fat as a nutrient. It's about flow. For older adults, where the body is already managing slower digestion, tighter vessels, and years of buildup, even small choices can have lasting ripple effects. That's why we don't need to fear oil, but we do need to replace its role in the kitchen. Try this. Sauté your vegetables in water, broth, or lemon juice. Roast with dry rubs and herbs. Let natural fats from whole foods, like avocado or flax, take the place of processed, isolated oils. Your food will still shine. The flavor doesn't disappear, but the burden on your arteries does. This isn't restriction, it's restoration. It's giving your body one less thing to fight and one more chance to open. Because when we remove what quietly blocks, healing flows in faster. Have you ever felt jittery or tense after your usual cup of coffee? But blame stress or age instead? You're not alone, and what's in your cup might be telling your arteries to hold tight when they actually need to relax caffeinated coffee. The tension in your cup. You reach for the mug, steam rises, the smell is familiar, comforting, even nostalgic. Coffee has been with you through mornings, deadlines, and more tired days than you can count. But inside your body, something else happens with every sip. Caffeine doesn't just wake your brain, it wakes your blood vessels too, but not in a gentle way. It tightens, it contracts, it tells your arteries, brace yourself. Caffeine increases cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone. And when cortisol rises, your vessels become less elastic, your heart beats faster, and the production of nitric oxide, the very signal that keeps arteries soft and open, begins to drop. In younger bodies, this stress spike is quickly balanced, but in aging systems, already working harder to stay calm, this tension lingers longer, and recovery comes slower. It's not about blaming coffee. It's about understanding how the cup you use to feel awake may also be the cup that keeps your body from relaxing. But here's the invitation. You don't need to lose the ritual. You just need to reimagine it. Try hibiscus tea, known to lower blood pressure naturally, or rooibos, caffeine-free, rich in antioxidants, soothing to the heart. Even decaf green tea, with L-theanine to support calm alertness. Let your mornings stay sacred. Let your mug stay warm. But let what fills it begin to soften you instead of speed you up. Because not everything that wakes you has to leave a trace of tension behind. Animal foods. The slow burn. You may think of meat as strength, fish as clean, poultry as light. But inside your body, these foods tell a different story. They don't just nourish, they leave behind residue, inflammation, oxidative stress, and a slow erosion of flexibility within the very vessels you need to stay supple and responsive as you age. Let's talk chemistry for a moment. When you eat meat, red or white, your body produces TMAO, a compound linked to arterial damage and plaque formation. Your CRP levels rise, a marker of inflammation, and oxidative stress increases, silently wearing down the walls of your arteries one meal at a time. This isn't about fear, it's about understanding what your body asks for after 60, because aging arteries aren't just narrower, they're more sensitive, more reactive, more in need of foods that repair, not irritate. And here's the good news. You don't have to give up flavor, you just have to shift the source. Beans, rich in fiber and healing compounds, dark leafy greens, vasodilators in disguise, berries, anti-inflammatory powerhouses in a handful, whole grains, slow-burning fuel with gentle impact. These foods don't just not harm, they help. They communicate healing at a cellular level. They support nitric oxide. They reduce inflammation. And they do it quietly, meal by meal. This is not a diet, it's a repair protocol. It's the decision to stop pouring fuel on the slow fire and instead, let it cool. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can eat is what you don't. Dairy, the silent calcium trap. We grew up hearing it again and again. Drink your milk, it's good for your bones. It was printed on cartons, spoken in classrooms, and passed from parent to child like a quiet commandment. But what if, for aging bodies, milk doesn't strengthen? It stiffens. Dairy is often praised for its calcium content. And yes, calcium matters. But inside your arteries, it's not just about what you absorb, it's about where it ends up. As we age, calcium doesn't always go to the bones. Sometimes it settles in the lining of your blood vessels, leading to vascular calcification, a hardening of tissues that were meant to stay flexible and responsive. The culprits, saturated fats found in cheese, cream, butter, that fuel inflammation. Casein, a dairy protein linked to plaque formation and hormonal imbalance. And dairy's hormonal load, including natural estrogens and growth factors, that may disrupt the body's regulatory systems, especially in postmenopausal women and older men. The result? Not stronger bones, but stiffer arteries. And over time, a quiet narrowing of the pathways that carry life through your body. But here's the beauty. You don't have to give up warmth or comfort. You just have to change the source. Coconut milk for creaminess, oat milk for smooth texture, almond milk for gentle clarity. All work in tea, porridge, smoothies, without leaving inflammatory footprints behind. This shift isn't about restriction. It's about remembering that what once felt safe may no longer serve the body you're living in today. Because calcium isn't the problem. Inflammation is. And you have the power to choose what flows through you softly again. Sugar, the sweet, slow down. It doesn't always look harmful. It doesn't come with a warning label. Sometimes it even says natural, organic, or raw. But sugar, in its many forms, speaks to your arteries in a voice they don't forget. Refined sugar, fructose, maple syrup, even honey. They don't just spike your blood sugar. They injure your endothelium, the fragile lining inside your blood vessels that keeps flow smooth and pressure stable. Each time the spike hits, your body scrambles to respond. Inflammation rises, free radicals surge, nitric oxide, the healing messenger of your vessels, gets silenced. And over time, that daily sweetness becomes a slow erosion of softness, of flow, of healing potential. For older adults whose blood vessels have weathered decades of tension, this injury doesn't repair as quickly. It accumulates. It becomes morning fatigue, afternoon pressure, evening bloating, brain fog, joint inflammation, all without one obvious cause. But here's the healing twist. You don't need to fear sweetness. You just need to return it to its source. Whole fruits, where fiber buffers the spike, roasted sweet potatoes, slow digesting and rich in minerals, small bites of dark chocolate, with no added syrups, and maybe most importantly, begin to sweeten life in ways that don't always pass through your mouth. Because sugar isn't just a nutrient, it's a signal. And when your body has had too much, it doesn't always shout. It whispers in fatigue, in pressure, in forgetfulness. Listen now, before it has to raise its voice. You don't have to fear your blood pressure. You don't have to live in reaction to every number, every scan, every prescription. There's a cup waiting for you, a ritual waiting for you, a moment each day to say, I can support my body, not just suppress it. Because healing isn't always dramatic. Sometimes it's hot water, steeped with something red, and a body that finally exhales as the first sip lands gently inside. For the next 3 days, try something simple. Switch your morning coffee for hibiscus or rooibos. Replace oil with broth in just one meal. Skip dairy at breakfast, then pause. Not to measure, but to notice. What changes in your breath? Your pressure? Your peace? Let us know in the comments. Not for approval, but so others can see. Healing may not be hidden. It may just be steeping, waiting for someone to remember it.